Your bones, America.
I am the light of the world. If any man come to me.
God bless your bones, America. I'm your host, the Right Reverend David Clark, and I'm more than happy to come into your home today and to share with you the enlightenment of God's everlasting word. For I believe that entrance of God's word giveth life, and life more abundantly. Today, my host is Jonathan Clark, all the way from Washington, D.C., and he is here to share his experiences and his perspective on different issues that's affecting our country today. He's the guest at the environmental conference that would take place April the 1st, this coming weekend, Monday, at the environmental conference. He will be presenting among other scientists and other guests from around the world. We have several doctors, lawyers, and we will be discussing some issues that will have a strong impact on the world today. So we're going to get to some solutions.
Yes.
But before we do that, also Monday night, we'll be celebrating the unsung heroes in our community. We'll be celebrating the achievement and the contribution that they have made in the community and in the country. We have some people from South Africa who are doing a tremendous work in the community in South Africa, and they will be honored Monday night. So we ask that everybody start watching this particular show, because we're going to present them to you in the next couple of shows that we do. Again, we thank God for Jonathan Clark making his way to be with us today. Jonathan, welcome to Highway and Hedges Outreach Ministry.
Thank you very much, David. It is an honor and a privilege to be here.
Now, at the banquet of the Black History Celebration,
Yes.
We plan to induct football champions. What is your particular role as a facilitator for that event?
My role as a facilitator is to give credence and to give awareness to those who have come before us and created a platform for our communities and really created a something to look up to, and that has allowed us to follow the examples of those that have been pillars in the community and those that have laid pathways for us, for those to come after them. And so, I'm going to be speaking about that and giving an appreciation to those individuals, and at the same time, going to be talking about the awareness that can be gained through empowering communities about how to heal ourselves and heal our bodies and heal and prevent disease and prevent the things that have actually been impacting our communities for many generations.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be talking about that, and I talk quite a bit about it in my new book, which I've just recently finished.
Yes.
I'm going to be
Tell me more.
The Power to Heal, and it's about how to energize your brain, increase longevity, and to heal your body from the inside out.
Now, you say increase
Yes.
your mental
capacity and performance.
in performance.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is that, you know, many people have traditional memory lapses or traditional things that they see as commonplace today, and they expect and it is assumed that this is a product of getting older, or that this is this normal aging that happens. And what they have found is actually that these things that are plaguing our communities weren't necessarily there in the past years ago. And the more that they started looking at what was the cause of some of these diseases, they started identifying that, wait a minute, there's something systemic actually happening to our bodies. There are many different diseases, many different things that are popping up. You have diabetes, you have obesity, you have Alzheimer's, you have neurodegenerative disorders, you have heart disease, and you have the three big killers of those over the age of 80, which is heart disease, cancer, and neurological disorders. And so I wanted to take a deep dive into figuring out if we could address the cause of these diseases and actually create a way to extend lifespan after the age of 80. Then not only could we increase health span, but also increase the depth of youthfulness that you have in your old age. Because most people think that when you get old, that you're going to be it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely.
But there are ways to enhance your youthfulness in old age. So I don't want to be 100-year-old that is, you know, I'm going to live, I actually plan, and I talk about this in a book, plan to live to about 140 years old at least. And this is something that people say, when I say those things, people say, well, how is that even possible? Well, let me say that if you live past the year 2030, they say add 50 years to your life already just because of the medical advances. And so this is something that I talk all about in my book, but at the same time, not just the things that will be extending your life, but how to improve the way that you feel, the way that you look, and the way that you show up and perform in your life, in your families, in your communities where you live, and how to protect yourself against the growing environmental toxins that are really going to impact us. And one of those biggest toxins, and we're going to be talking about it Monday at the several activities and at the conference where we're going to be addressing the impact of Wi-Fi, wireless, non-native EMF, and more importantly, the transition from where we currently are, 1.8G to 5G.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
So you're going to be addressing what's making Americans sick.
What's making us sick. That's exactly right. Humanity is sick. And this is something that people have noticed. They look at their families. They look at their selves. They look at, they're not feeling, I guarantee you anybody you talk to is having something that's bothering them. And they think that this is the way it's supposed to be. But when you look back, there weren't diseases such as Alzheimer's back before around the year 1900, which is right around the time that electrical systems started being installed in our major cities. And then you started to see, well, wait a minute, like that was unheard of prior to the 1900s. And, there were dementia, there were other things like that, but the fact that, heart disease, the largest preventable medical condition, is now the #1 killer across the planet. Like these are, and when people see that, they say, well, this is just the way that things are. But it doesn't have to be. There are things that you can do. There are things that there are actions that can be taken, and there are things that you can change from the way that you even wake up in the morning, the things that you do, the routines, from the foods that you eat, from the way that you actually get energy from the foods that you eat. And this is something I go into deeply, and most people aren't aware of the way that biophysics actually impact the energetic expressions of our cells. But the way that we extract food and electrons from food is at the core of the diseases that are impacting humanity. And this is something I'm going to talk all about, and I can explain all of this in detail. And I don't want to get go down too far, because it's something I'm really passionate about.
Well, I'll tell you this, nobody understands the answer. I mean, that why certain illnesses are existing today. And the environment is causing more damage than any other.
Gosh, our environment is toxic. It's toxic. You know, most people are plagued with heavy metals throughout their system. Most people have not done a detox in their entire life since other than you know, maybe going a day without eating, and that may have been because they didn't have the food. But the fact is that there are things that you could do.
Is there a detox for medication?
Absolutely, yes, there is.
I mean, everybody's on medication. The pharmacy have messed our minds up, feeling as if we need a pill to drink, we need a pill to go to the bathroom, we need a pill to do everything. One
of the things, the programs that I have is a program called BioFast. You can, if you go to BioFast.
Is it going to be in the book?
Yes, and you go to the website now, biofasthealth.com. And I did recently, I just did a 12-day fast, and people actually haven't had a chance to really talk about it. But I document exactly what was happening to my body, and it's incredible because the amount of physical improvements that I was experiencing were blow your mind, David. And it's interesting because most people think, well, if you go 12 days without food, that's bad for the body, and that's going to cause, you know, this and this and this and this to happen. But no, there are some things that the body was actually built to survive, and actually fasting is one of them. But we were not built to survive and live in a continuous 24/7 EMF, electromagnetic frequency, polluted environment on a daily basis. And so there are things that we have to do today to heal ourselves that we didn't have to do yesterday. And there are things that we're going to have to do tomorrow to even prevent the next plague from happening to ourselves and to our families.
So are you saying that EMF is a plague?
It is
on the earth now.
Yes,
there's a new plague.
It is the biggest unseen, unspoken plague that is currently impacting humanity and is really about to take over the entire medical system as we know it. And most people, and I'm not trying to scare people, because there are things that you can do. There are ways that you can actually, you know, take action, and there are things that you can do in your communities and with your local governments to get, you know, your communities wired. You know, having something as simple as having your fiber optic cables lined underneath the ground as opposed to transmitted through the air would do an enormous magnitude of benefit to communities and preventing cancer, preventing heart disease, preventing these things that we so-called can't find a cause to. But
I have to get this book.
Yes. Yes.
And what's the title again?
The Power to Heal.
The Power to Heal.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I think that's the type of book we're definitely going to need in the 21st century.
Absolutely.
We need to talk about that more, and we're going to do a lot of that at the environmental conference this coming Monday. And we're going to talk about the problem and the solutions to solve these particular problems. I certainly appreciate you coming and to be our guest.
Thank you.
And I think that another thing that you're doing that evening, you'll be facilitating the inductee ceremony.
That's right.
Where we are inducting athletes who have made a difference, athletes who have passed away and left a legacy.
That's right.
And the Black History Achievement Award will give them a platform to live a long time.
Yes.
And this ceremony is going to encourage the public and the other athletes who want to be greater in their particular endeavor.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that ceremony, and we think that it's the best thing that could ever happen to those who have slipped before their time. So we appreciate you accepting the opportunity to facilitate this special ceremony.
I want to mention that just before we go. You know, I'm not just a scientist, but I am also a coach, and I've always been one who has appreciated the legacy that has been established and created for others to follow. And the fact is that there aren't enough of these types of activities. There are not enough heroes that are looked up to and that are appreciated for the example that they've been. And you know, I say that everyone's life is either a lesson or an example to follow. And I think that, you know, by examining those that had contributed to our communities, and will allow us, you know, to accelerate, you know, our growth and our level of mature development in terms of our contributing to our communities is something that will definitely be impacted by the event. Just one day.
Now we are honoring, celebrating Penn Hill's football players.
That's right.
And they were champions this year. We honor and celebrating Aliquippa football team. They were champions this year. And this is the first time we ever reached out to them because they were recommended.
Yes.
And by the way,
Aliquippa, that's right. Great examples of great legacies.
We honor those who've been recommended to us now because we've been doing this such a long time. And so there are certain individuals who have passed away and have died as a result of injuries. And those persons are going to be inducted to the Hall of Magnum Opus. So we're so glad you took up the challenge and took up the opportunity to present that particular night.
There's a saying that that sometimes there are those that have to die so that others may live. And it's unfortunate that it had to happen, but for those that have passed away, they give others who are still here an opportunity and an example to follow. And this is what I try to do on a daily basis, and this is what you could find more of my information on my website is innerpowerunleashed.com. BioFast Health if you're looking for more information on healing the body, and you can find me on Facebook and all across social media. But I make sure to share this message on a continual basis because it's something that fuels me, it gives me energy, it gives me life to acknowledge and appreciate and lift others up. You know, because me and you both, we know, regardless of how old you are, we stand on the shoulders of giants that have blazed the trail before us.
That's right.
And I hope to do the same for those that come after us.
One of the inductees is Donovan Bain from Penn Hills, and he was only 17 years old in a terrible car accident, but he had a lasting impression. He left a lasting impression on the football team and the community, and they recommended him to be inducted in the Hall of Magnum Opus. The same things with DeMonte Barrows, in Aliquippa. He was 17 or 18 years old, and he will be inducted in the Hall of Magnum Opus. And another thing about the conference, we have medical doctors, again, who will be screening the football players to make sure they are not carrying on injuries in their bodies. And a lot of times they don't say anything about their injuries because they want to play football so bad. And they find out collapsing on the field and collapsing on the court. So we're conducting an EMF screening for those athletes and also for the pastors. Many pastors are collapsing in the pulpit and have no idea why they're getting sick. So we have Dr. Rosiana Lottie who will be addressing that, and we have Mr. Robert Winters who will be addressing safeguarding the house of worship. And these particular doctors and leaders are going to have a powerful impact upon anyone who watched the show or anyone who attend the conference. And the conference is free, so you can get a screening free when you attend this conference. So we open this out to the public, and we thank UPMC for sponsoring this event. So everybody is welcome to come.
So please come. If you want to learn more about your health, if you want to learn more about the current and future impacts of wireless technology, if you want to learn more about what's actually happening to your own body and what you can do about it, please come. It's free. You'll learn and you'll walk away with something you didn't have when you walked in. That's a guarantee.
Again, we're so glad and thankful that you arranged your time and traveled all night almost.
Yes. yes.
To appear and be on this particular show. And hopefully you stay in time and long enough to come back to the show.
I absolutely will.
And when you come back, we'll have some others who are making a contribution to the community and making a difference in people's lives. So we're certainly happy to have Jonathan Clark on Highway and Hedges Outreach Ministry. The door is always open to you to share your strategies.
Absolutely.
Especially, is this your first book?
Yes, actually it is.
Share your book?
It's my first published book. I've actually, I have a few unpublished works that will be coming soon in the future. But this is something that I felt needed to be brought to your attention today in this day and time.
Season. Well, again, we thank you for allowing us to come into your home. And my sincere prayer for you today is that God's eternal purpose be manifested in your life as you continue to walk worthy of the vocation wherein ye have been called. Again, God bless your bones, America. I'm your host, the Right Reverend David Clark, saying hello, hello, hello. God bless you.
God bless everyone.